Hello everyone, this is another amazing session of Influence Inner Self, and with me I have two people who have joined and taken this valuable time. One is Prosper, you can see live in here, and we have Emily who is there on an audio conversation with us. My name is Amit and I am a co-host and a moderator for this session as well. And here we are learning the 33 steps of influencing yourself. This is the process by which one can become an influencer. So if you need to know more about what is influencer, how to become an influencer, and what is the power of influencing, I think you can go back and check. There are a lot of other videos of these sessions. This session is called as a co-learning session where people from all across the world, they are free and open to come and join me and share their views, and we learn all these things on a platform like this. And if you have anything to share with me or comment anything here, you can put it all down in the comment boxes. I'll be answering each one of you personally. And just to tell you, this is a free session which happens every Monday and every Friday at evening 8 p.m. on Indian Standard Time. And everyone is invited. No age barrier, no intellect barrier. If you want to learn about this, the only thing that you need to learn is how to listen and how to communicate. And today's session is all about communications. We will share my screen and I will take you through all the things that has happened so far. And we have covered more than 16, 17 points out of the 33 points. And today is the session, which is the 16th session. And that's going to be an amazing session as well. So let me invite my friend Prosper here. Prosper is a person who has been practicing martial arts for 25 years plus. I mean, why I didn't Prosper, you can talk a little bit about that. And today we'll do something which has never been done, is the intensive communication of martial arts, business, communications. We'll put all this together and we'll try to see the world's biggest, largest, and the most difficult skill, or the most money-giving skill, called as communications. And you know what? The communications, we'll talk about all the stages, and the biggest power of communication is you don't need to communicate at all. So with that, let me introduce Prosper. Prosper, over to you guys.
Hi, so my name is Prosper. I'm a French Chinese, and I'm a high-ticket closer. So I'm closing for some influencers in personal development. And so here I am, just following Amit for a while and just see him giving a valuable tips, advice, and knowledge about productivities and communications. So thank you, Amit, for being here with you.
Thank you so much. All right. So Prosper, why don't you talk about a little bit about the kind of style that you are practicing right now and how do you relate it to communications?
Okay, so beyond the closer part, so I have a heavy martial arts experience, 25 years martial arts experience, and I did practice a lot of style until I met my teacher in Wing Chun. So Wing Chun is martial arts designed for women, Chinese martial arts. So it's all related to softness. Yeah. So for men like me who came from diverse backgrounds of martial arts, more manly background of martial arts, it's pretty tough for me to learn that kind of style because you need to loosen up. I mean, it's not just about mentally, it's really physically. You need to be more relaxed on your shoulders. You need to loosen up your chest. You need to loosen up your muscles. And you can see that you are melting. So even your abs, you need to loosen up. Because if you really want to be efficient in that style, you need to reproduce the way that the feminine attributes of this art. Because this art is designed for a woman, I would say a short woman, who can beat a stronger man, twice his size, even more heavier than him. So that's how it's designed. We designed to get into a very small movement, right? And very short distance movement. Because it's a little woman that we try to to reproduce that kind of quality. Yeah.
Wow. So guys, if you're listening to this, we will be combining both the stuff called martial art, business, and art of communications. I think that's an amazing thing, because I strongly feel I I think both the entities needs to come closer to do any sort of interaction, whether it is fighting, whether it is business, whether it is loving. There has to be a closeness, okay? And the closeness starts with awareness. It starts with finding. It starts with understanding. It starts with observations, expectations, and I think expectations is the killer. That brings closer or takes you down or takes you away.
Mm.
It's the power of that way. And so today we'll go deeper into this. I will share you a couple of informations that I am trying to uh, emphasize on myself as well. I've been working with so many things from last so many years now, and I think if there is a skill on Earth or beyond Earth, I think that's the power of communication. I mean, that's something which you can build, you can destroy, you can recreate, you can remerge, you can do anything. Now, I'll talk about all these things in a structured way. And today's session is more about interaction. So probably, Prosper, I might need your help at multiple stages to share your viewpoints. And so probably once we finish this entire thing, the thumbnail of this is going to be very interesting. We'll have martial arts and we'll have business.
That's crazy, because I don't believe that, or maybe few people have done this, but that will be a very beautiful cocktail today.
All right, so let's start in this way. Okay, let me quickly take you through a couple of things. So we will talk about the first thing is verbal communication. Okay, just one second. Let me just share my screen with you guys. And all right. Okay, so guys, can you see my screen, right? So you guys can see my screen?
Yeah.
All right. So just a small recap. This is like what we have done so far is we have talked about positioning, promise, personality, story, goal, association, public relationship, status, content, analytics, techniques, then being seen, that is the power of mic, being heard, purpose, pre-frame, and now today we're going to talk about communication. Okay, and this is something that we're going to be filling up all together. And as I said, so communications are based out of various kinds. So the kinds that everyone knows is called as verbal communication. I'm talking to you, you're talking to me, I'm listening, I'm reacting, all these things, right? So the first thing is called verbal. So I'm not going deeper into the verbal sector. I'll talk about that later. Okay, and then the next one, yes, you have guessed it right. It is called as the non-verbal. All right. And then as we talk about other things, then we go into the written structure and all those things. So let's concentrate on this. Okay, I think this is where the entire thing stands up. Okay, separately. Verbal communication, where I'll just give you kind of a very basic. This is like how you're listening to me. Language, tonality, speech, tone, culture, heritage, positioning. All these things comes in your verbal language, right? And trust me, this is a very small fraction of this entire communication. The larger fraction is non-verbal, right? And let me just go back to the screen where we have my friend as well. So Prosper, I don't want to go into the verbal thing more. Let me understand the non-verbal thing, because fights can be, or business can be, or love can be, or teachings can be on a verbal platform, right? You need to have both your ears and mouth working together, right? You listen and you move. So it's like, continuously it is working behind this. You listen, you talk, you listen, and you process. So it's called listen, process, talk, LPT, or talk, process, listen, right? So I don't want to go into that structure right now, because there are lots of things are there on verbal communications, your tonality, matching, the voice structure, pitch, and all these things. I want to talk about something which was never discussed earlier, probably in that structure. So here I have my friend Prosper to help me out, is the non-verbal communication. Right? So guys,
I'm drinking my water to be prepared. I'm saying something that
so I would like to introduce this session with a very small thing that I have experienced, probably might be you guys have also experienced, is when I was in school or when I was a kid, and many times it becomes very difficult to handle kids who are like quarreling, who are naughty, they are playing fool, and you see the teacher comes to the classroom and pin drop silence. He doesn't say a
mm,
single word. He just
mm,
comes in. He doesn't have, or might be he just goes by, or he just crosses that thing, and everyone is like shh, silence. You would have never seen such an amazing people. I'm sure every one of us have gone through this kind of a thing. This is just a small structure of non-verbal communications. So let me understand how it happens. So let Prosper talk about the martial arts thing, and I'll talk about the business things, and let mix it up in a nice amazing way. And we have one more person along with us, Emily. So anytime, Emily, if you feel to share something, please open up, please talk to us, not a problem.
yeah, please
Okay.
share.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Right. Great. Yes, Prosper, go over to you.
Okay. So you were talking just before that when the teacher just get into the class and then everybody is silent, right?
Yeah.
So what's happened there? Let me put my own assumptions about what's happened there, right? Especially as a martial artist. So first of all, I talk about body positioning, right? So is to be in a place of confidence, right? So what does it mean? I mean, in terms of body, it means like you need to have your 2 feet on the floor. You need to feel it. It's not something that, okay, I'm just walking. But there's a moment you need to feel that. And what's happened around you, then it doesn't matter anymore. Because what's happened when we walk in the streets, we matter too much about what's happened around us, People, they're looking at you, and you may internally think, oh, why he's looking like this? Or why did I do something wrong? Oh, I'm sorry, and all this movement that you do because you don't feel yourself in a place. Yeah. So for me, when I'm walking in a crowd, I'm in my place. It doesn't matter if the person touching me here or here, I'm still in my positions. It doesn't matter. It's not affecting me because I know around that space here, that body here, I'm great. I'm safe, right? Then from here, from honestly who you are at this moment physically, then you can have more clarity about what's happened around you. So this is called awareness. This is when you spread awareness not only on you because you already you resolve your own internal issue, then you start to spread your awareness around you. So when the teacher gets into the class and he's very cool, confident, he keeps his posture as walking through, and he's looking at each and every one of the students into his eyes, not scared, not moving, not say, hey, I'm buddy, not pretending, not having a mask. Just be as it is and be present. Because when the moment that the teacher valued the present moment, I mean the body, when he grabbed the floor and is getting there and I'm looking at you, that's the moment there's a silence here. It's the moment they understand that they need to be ready. It's almost to tell with the eyes, they need to be ready for the battle. It's like a leader of an army here. So that's here. So if in contrary, I'm like a teacher, yeah, I'm like this. Silence, silence, stop doing this and that and that. You see, I'm out of my place because I feel bothered. The noise, the movements, the few students, they're jumping around and they throw me some papers and I feel bothered all the time and I'm moving around. I say, oh, please, right? and I go all over the place. And this is what's happened when you're not confident enough, when you're not building this kind of internal part of you. So when I know please, I put my hands down. I stay still. I'm waiting. And when I'm ready, you guys feel it, because I'm at the present moment to wait this moment. I feel my moment, and I don't hurry. So that's the power of this posture, that you have it here.
Yeah.
So this is one thing, and then you ask me questions, because yeah, you know, I'm giving this, and I'm sure that I could have even more.
I have a couple of questions for you.
Share.
Okay, so
yeah,
my
please.
first question is, martial art is more about you know, let's say defense or offense, whatever. I mean, it's a trick, it's a war technique, right? And I think war or any intentional or anything starts with some sort of disturbance of expectations. That is my understanding. I might be wrong. Okay, you might not need the technique if you know how to fight with your expressions, your positioning, your silence. You might not need any art of martial arts, or might be, don't take me on the wrong side, but that point, you might not need yourself to defend also. You might not need to hit anyone. You might just understand that thing. So I think that's more powerful. I think this is something where right now I think we have the biggest challenges in the world, as we do not know how to communicate. We might not know how to even communicate silently, the non-verbal communications. So let me just quickly take you through this, what I had written it down, so you guys can share your views. So how do I get it more bigger? I don't know. Okay. So this is something that I have written down as facial expressions. I think what you nicely said, Prosper, is like facial expression makes a lot of structure of your communications. You're bold, you're sincere, you're moving out, you are not intentional. I think facial expression talks many things. We have got more than 1,000 plus muscles, and how you operate all these muscles, might be a smile and a cunning smile or a naughty smile. These are all smiles, but they're versions of smiles, right? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
That is one thing, because this is a responsible. Because many times when you don't smile, let's say you're telling about a story where you had, let's say, you have got something good results, and I just say, yeah, good. That expression is not good. Yeah, it's like, okay, I might be jealous, or good, okay. So one expression itself talks 1,000 words, and how you interpret it. There is the book of law where expressional communications is recorded in the books of law. So guys, if you're listening to this, be very careful. There is no law of expressional things. Okay, you don't have to show some gestures and all. I'm talking about you can talk with your eyes, and there is no law to stop you that. It is very powerful. It is very intense, but only you should know how to use that. I'm not going into details right now. Okay, gestures, guys. This is something where human beings have so many things to put a gesture into place. Just not the eyes, just not the mouth, just not the lips, just not the ears, your hands. So I'll just give you a small information. If it is a video, and if you're looking at me, my hand gestures within this much, you should have, like, as I said, I'm thinking. So these are a couple of gestures we have. So ideally, you should not have more than 30 per minute and less than 20. So 26 is an ideal way of doing gestures. So this is a very minutest thing that I can tell you. This is how you do it. Even this one, this positioning is called gesture. Now, Prosper, I want to share you something about martial arts with this. Okay, business.
Okay.
Now, if I put my hand like this and I say, stop, this is not what I want to listen. And if I say, okay, can I talk
okay.
You see, just the hand movement, there's so many change. There is something power transition happens in this. Why don't you talk something about that?
Okay. It's very interesting what you did just before, because we have if some know about Wing Chun's, we have the kind of we call the Tan Sao. The hands is a bit like this, you know, in this position here, right?
Just take it a little above.
So I'm not doing good. It's just more like that.
Okay.
It's more like you're receiving things.
All right.
So we have this kind of hands. And when you do this is a hand that I'm sending when I'm just hitting back, right? I'm sending, right? So we send here, but when we do this, we receive. And that's very interesting. So that quality of these hands, we know is about receiving. Not, we don't hit this way, but we receive. But this hand, when we do this, we go and just send it. So that's a very good analogy about that, about those type of two quality of hands.
Right. So, so any good tips about people who are in love? Never use this, but use this, I think. And who are into relationships,
yes,
I think being closed is so much powerful. Like my hands are like this, and I'm always in a receiving end. If you do this, it doesn't. I don't know. There is some sort of an energy which just bounces out in a not so favorable way. I don't say negative, positive, but it is not favorable. But now there are.
Can I ask you something? Just very quickly. These hands. So again, when we're doing these hands, we call that in our side the beggar hands, right?
Okay.
So how to do the beggar hands? Here we know we receive. But if you are a little bit like this, you're a bit too intentful, right? You can see how sharp. Yeah. You can't ask money like that. You can't ask him money like that.
Give me some money.
So give me some money. Give me some money, right? It's a little bit you threat person, right?
Yeah.
But if you're more like relaxing a little bit, you see, there's a curve here inside. Then you're a little bit more gentle about your hands and the quality of your hands here. Then it's easier that you have more chance that people could give money to you. So the meaning of like, are you welcoming? Are you giving threat? So that's the quality of how you use your hands and the quality of your muscle.
Do you think we can use this technique to do a handshaking? There are a lot of people, they say, okay, shake hands like this, and this showing you. There are some people, okay, hi, hello. They do that empowering thing, okay?
Yeah.
And, no one does like this. Hello, this is my hand, okay, shake hands. No. Either they say like this, okay, hi. So when you are with a lady, there are people, a lot of people that talk in different languages, but I strongly feel there is no grammar to it because it all starts with your eyes first. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I will say about shaking hands, it's very interesting also because I know that people would think that if I have my hands on the top, it's more dominating. If I have my hands here, I look more submissive. But I will say something that people are not really considering is about the hand pressure.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, my teacher, when he do hands, it can be like this, but it's so soft that it put yourself a little bit awkward. It's not giving any energy. And he's do that on purpose, right? Okay. So, because he want to put you off and feel like what's happened there, right? That's one way of doing it. But I would say, like, for me, it doesn't matter that I'm here or here. But if I'm here, but I'm not soft, what does it mean? Right? Does it mean that I'm dominating? Right. I'm overpowering by the angle, but it doesn't mean I'm overpowering by my pressure.
Yes, yes, you're right. Yeah.
And the same thing here. I'm not overpowering by my angle, but I can be very, strong handshake from this angle, right? Okay. So it depends on the pressure, and the pressure will determine the quality of the person behind the handshake.
Amazing.
So more than the angles. So I don't think about which angles I'm taking from, but I'm thinking about the way he squeezed me. Because the moment he squeezed me, he will affect his elbow. It will affect his shoulders. And we go straight to the back. And I will feel it from him. And maybe if I'm very good, sensitive, if I'm very sensitive, I can feel it through his knees and through his feet, right? If I'm going far behind that. So at this moment, I know that the person who grabbed me like this, I feel how his body and how stiff, the level of stiffness of his body.
So, guys, I mean, there are different school of thoughts. Prosper is more into the martial arts stuff, what he's talking about, and I'm talking about in real sense in businesses or in your community day-to-day life. You might be greeting people morning, evening, good night, and stuff. Okay, you can say goodbye. And I want to share something which is from, I'll say the heritage that I bear from India. In India, I think we don't have that angle issue, and we don't have the pressure issue. So I think people you try it uh, right by your side. It's called Namaste. I don't know if you've heard of this. Namaste is take
yeah,
and you fold like this. Okay. So the moment you put it like this, I don't know if you can see my this thing. Okay. You put it like this. Okay. Your thumb towards you. So there are scientific ways to do Namaste. But understand, if I do this, there are a lot of Asian countries, they follow the same tradition of Namaste and they bow down like this, which is good. This gives your aura within yourself. And a little bit bow of it makes you so hospitable. I mean, it's like you are humble and you're inviting the gentleman in your heart. So all your things goes in your heart, right? So this is how it is. But understand, this is a very powerful stance. Very powerful stance. When you do this, it's not like you are close, but it is like I am bowing my inner soul, the God in you and the God in me are like talking to each other, kind of, right? I don't want to go into this. Just type Namaste in Google. You will find a lot of information. This is scientific stuff. All the powers and energies of all the fingers come closer, and then you utilize all this energy, and you are in front of this gentleman. You are inviting him with all the energy, all concentration. Now, Namaste can be a naughty one, a powerful one. You can use it to hate. Namaste. Okay, now that is something which is bad. You should not do that. Okay. Okay, namaste. That is called as politician way of doing it, Namaste. Okay, it's not good, it's not bad, but it is like showing the power. Okay, showing the thank you. People do namaste in another style also. They clutch hands. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. The different traditions are there. They manage this. Okay, the bow down. They do like this, clutch folds. Okay. There is another thing probably, Prosper, you can help me out. This is the another one, right?
Yeah, there's one here, the moon and the sun.
We do it like this. Okay, there's different ways are there. People do it in different way. Okay. And okay. Hey, hi June. So today we're talking about communication, the non-verbal way. Without using your words, you communicate. And good that you could make your time to come down here. So we're talking about martial arts, business, and normal life as well, putting all together about non-verbal communications.
Okay.
So, so Prosper being a martial art trainer and a trainee by himself, so he has shared a couple of things. So Prosper, why don't you tell me the meaning of this once you do this? I mean, can I do that in normal language? Can I do it with everyone?
I essentially, I don't know much about this. Okay. I know that this is the sun, the moon. I have really no ideas about these kind of things.
Okay, so you said I want to just share my.
I hope that I could have more meaning about this, but this kind of codifications, the code of this, I don't know much.
Okay. So the good part is Namaste can be done to anyone. You can do Namaste to a kid. You can do a Namaste to the elderly. You can do Namaste to the same age group, male, female. I mean, we do Namaste, in fact, to the non-living things also. We can do it in front of a rock, a tree, a fire, whichever the way you can thank him, and show the gratitude. This is so powerful. And trust me, if you do it for just 30 seconds, you will understand the energy which is coming to you. Just 30 seconds. If you guys are doing this, you can practice this. Just stand closer, keep your eyes closed, or just do this, and just try once today morning or tomorrow morning, whenever you can meet anyone and say
that's good.
Namaste.
Yeah.
The power of this in business is amazing. I have used this and I'm using this many times when you talk to a lady and she might not be willing to shake hands. Okay, she might not look, the touch. Sometimes I don't know how to touch you. Sometimes it's something. Sometimes happen, right? This is an amazing
Yeah.
way to have the hygiene, have the voice in a nice way, and yeah, take it from India. This is the tradition. The oldest thing to greet people is this namaste. So if I could
Okay.
share some part of this, use it, man. There's no harm into this. Um,
Mm.
Another thing is, talking about coming to business. Uh, I think there is the first thing in communication. I feel, you might be wrong. It is a platter, as I said. It's called silence. You know.
That's could be annoying.
Okay. It has good. It has bad. It has a couple of things which I want to share with you. So you might say something, and I might do like this. Okay. I'm not paying attention to it. Okay, or might be I'm paying attention, but my gesture is different. So power of silence and power of listening is, I think, the first level what people should learn about communication. And if you guys want to be an influencer, then I think you have to feel this. Many times people don't talk in front of you. Many times people might not, just shout out, hey, I have got this problem, do you have an answer? No. This is where I think the observing power of observing comes with power of listening. Power of listening comes with power of being silent. These are all interrelated. So I would like to ask,
Yeah.
probably, Prosper, why don't you, share me all, kind of a little bit on the martial art part. The moment both the people are standing in front silently, what goes
Yeah.
on between your head?
I mean, the moment that something goes in your head, then I say you're done. You cooked. I mean, you can't do anything, because the thing is to go to a level that you are able to empty your cup,
Yeah.
right? So silence is really required. In our training, we have what we call the 5 points. So these are 5 points of structure,
Okay.
from the knees, the waist, the head, the elbow. Then from that, we tend to think about structure of the body, right? And sometimes during our practice, we need to think about those points. But if you start to think about those points in the fight, then you're done, right? Because at the end, it's about empty your cup and be very in tune with silence. It's about just a feeling. It's not about labeling. You're not here to label. It's to be at the present moment that you are okay with the expectations and the unexpectations.
Yeah. So I think
Because
pretty much. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
what I mean by expectations is, if I'm standing in front of you, I can know the possibility that you could have by kicking or punching me. I can see the outcome if he has to generate certain things, right? I can have that sense because I trained enough applications so I can understand the mechanic of the body. But in the same times, the unexpectations is, I don't know. It's very simple, I don't know, because I don't know from which rhythm he will come from. I don't know if it's from the right hand or the left hand. And I'm okay with that. So as you said that earlier, listening is a very important part. And this is what we do once we figured out that the positioning is right. Then and sensitivities come from silence.
Yeah. That's
So
a nice.
whatever it comes, just you feel it and just let go. You don't try to control. Because if you try to control, right? What does it mean by controlling? Controlling is start from your head. You have a calculations. So you say, okay, I want to control. Okay, I will do this on him. I will punch him first. I will kick him, and then I will do this and I will do that, right? So when you create calculation, what's happened? You're not silent here. In your head, you're not silent. So that's why you need to let go about the sense of control. We don't control the opponent.
Yeah.
We fight, we don't fight, we don't fight. So we keep silence just enough to feel the outcome, to feel the present moment. Whatever he gives to me, I apply, but I don't know which technique I'm using. So I don't think about technique. I don't know. You tell me you want me to do this. I'm asking you, give me something that I can do this. But if you don't give me, that's fine. But it's come from a silence. I'm empty my cup. I don't decide which hand I'm doing, but I'm only doing what you are giving.
Yeah.
And this is come with a lot of silence there, being stillness in motions. Yeah. I hope that is clear. Is it clear or is
Yeah, it's quite
sometimes
clear. I
I
think
go very like this? It could be sometimes esoteric, but I hope that it ground a little bit about communications. Can I give some examples about communication? How can I relate that martial arts to communications, right? For example, when we talk about, well, let's talk about sales, right? If we talk about closing, right? When people have some objections, this is where I'm fighting with objections and see how I can fight without fighting. So when people talk about the price things, right? In your head as a closer, you may think like, oh, I need to say this, I need to say that, I need to say that. But actually, if you start to have a lot of noise in your head, then you are only focusing on yourself. You are only focusing on your internal issue, and you have a lot of problem here. You have noise, but you forget what's happened really in you and what's happened in front of your opponent, the person you are talking to.
Right. Right.
Because if you have so much things in your head like that, and you think about techniques, then you're not hearing clearly his tonality. You're not hearing clearly what kind of word he's choosing. You're not hearing clearly what kind of grammatical sentence syntax he's using. And you're not seeing exactly what kind of posture he is. So that's why this is very important, to let it out, let it go, and just be completely empty, be silent, and be very in the present moment. With the
Yeah, what I can share from my perspective of coaching,
yeah,
it's because if you are thinking what you are going to say next or what you are going to do, you are actually not listening. And listening is a very important part of communication. When you listen deeply, it just comes to you what you're going to say. You don't need to think about it. But if you don't listen, if you don't listen deeply to the other person, you usually say something wrong or stupid because you're just thinking what you're going to say. You're focused on you, not on them. Exactly. As you said.
That's good.
Nice.
Yep.
Let me ask June, anything else that you want to add up here? I think your speaker is off, I guess. Your mic is off.
Yeah, your mic is off, June.
Yeah. Do you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Nothing to add up. Yeah, like I don't know too much about like body language. Definitely like, you know, like just this like random thought, like just it came out of random, like, and it's kind of like out of the blue. But you know, like the Doctor Strange guy, what was his name? Cumberbatch. Yeah, he came to Korea once, and he was doing this namaste to Korean people, and everyone was telling like there was like some kind of like opinions whether he's racist or not.
Wow.
So
okay,
I think just out of the blue, it just caught me in my mind, like maybe if a Korean does a namaste, people would think that guy is like, I don't know, acting like a white celebrity or a Buddhist or so. So I don't know if that applies in Korea.
It's okay. I mean, as I said, like, communication is more about interacting, right? So I shared this namaste thing, which is thing from India. As I said, it's all about how you put your culture there. So might be, we hug each other in one nation. In some nations we do kissing, in some nations probably we do bow. Okay, it depends. There are different ways of greeting people. So it's fine. So I am not contradicting this. I was talking about what we do in our country is namaste, which is something that you can do to everyone. Okay, it's hygienic. You don't have to be racist into this. It's most polite way of taking this, and you can do a lot of things along with that. It's too much of scientific stuff there. As I said, I cannot stop people from communicating whatever they're free to communicate. So coming to Prosper's stuff and what I learned from Emily as well is silence has pros and silence has cons. Only a master knows how to use, how much to use, and when to use. And in terms of business, sometimes silence can be a killer. Basically, if you are a prospect and you are buying something, and there is a silence from the other side, that makes you feel good or bad. It depends upon the time that you give a pause, or depends upon time you give a silence. It can happen on the other side also. The first time you go and meet somebody, and he just says, "Okay, I'm listening," and there is a pause. There is a big pause. That can be so much appealing, but understand, it involves a lot of factors. Stage by stage. I don't want to go into those things right now, but there are many factors of your silence positioning, which I call it as. Might be I can talk about that in one of the seasons here. Silence positioning. I'm just noting it down. Okay. Let me just go back and share you my screen there. So we have got a couple of things which you can talk. Okay. So we finished with facial expressions, gestures. We just spoke some of the gestures, paralinguistic, body language and postures, roles mix, eye gaze, haptics, appearances. There are a lot of things comes under non-verbal interpersonal skills. So I'll just probably ask you one more thing is. In terms of your business communications or in terms of your general life communications, there are a couple of things that we usually do or we usually intend to do is we use gestures, positioning, many times even clothes. If you are just wearing a different kind of a color in a funeral, it gives you a different kind of a communication as well. Okay, forget about gestures. You are an odd man out there. Now, as I said, this all depends upon how you take up the things, how you feel that. It's all about how our upbringing, our exposure, our community, our culture, heritage, everything has a silent, involvement into how you position yourself, your non-verbal communications. Okay, there are a lot of people, in one of the religion, they put a white mask, here. Okay. And people put it in a different way in different countries. White mask is taken as okay, it's a sign of revolting. On the other side, they practice this thing so that no germs goes into their things. They don't kill any kind of a living organism unknowingly. Okay. So as I said, these are different communications which are practiced in different parts of the world. And if you are into business, then you have to adapt to every situation, every world, and you have to understand. So if I'm doing a kind of a business in China, I need to understand that the communication style, the culture, the heritage, these minutest points helps you to gain that trust, that relationship. So instead of shaking hands, if you guys are from China, and if I do a bow, which might be this way or that way, you feel connected. You don't feel something odd, right? So business's first thing is there is a motive of exchange of something, service, product, culture, whatever. And this is the first thing which brings you closer. Okay, I'm sorry, might be, Prosper, you can help me out. Martial art is never about bringing closer. Martial art is not about shaking hands. Either it is defense or either it is offense. Correct me. Over to you, Chief. I mean, that is my understanding. I might be wrong.
I don't know. I do believe that in ancient time you don't shake hands very easily because you carry weapons.
Okay, so
right?
but tell me one thing.
So
I mean, when I compare to martial art and business, business is all about being closer, being near to each other. I know it's a tough question.
no, man, I
Well,
have my answer. Yeah, Emilia, you want
Emily,
to say
sorry.
something?
just wanted to say that usually they say in martial arts it's best when you avoid the fight.
Oh,
So
yes.
if you don't get to a fight, you are wise. It's best to don't get to a fight. If you have to fight, you've already lost.
Yeah, so it's in both the ways. If you see, it's all about detachment. It's all about objections. It's all about, on both the sides. There is some sort of an expected clash.
I believe that martial arts are actually for developing yourself, for developing your inner being and becoming wiser and gaining more control over yourself. And then you can win without fighting.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, it's a great thing. I mean, that's the entire purpose of today's session is how can we use some of the techniques which is used in business. From martial arts. Okay. At the end of the day, we are doing certain kind of businesses that we're doing it. So.
And yes, for example, in closing, when you don't push the prospect, you just let them sell themselves. That's the Tai Chi principle. You don't fight, you don't push, you just let them use their own power, and you just make space for the opponent.
Awesome. That's a good one.
And actually, my Tai Chi Sifu, my Tai Chi teacher, says that these principles can be applied in everything in life, everywhere.
That's nice. I mean, tell me more about that.
Yeah, Emilia, tell me more about that.
Yeah, well, in Tai Chi, you learn to feel your opponent. You learn to feel the other person. There is an exercise that's called push hands, and you play with your hands with a partner. So you take turns. You make space to them, and they push you. Then you push them and make space, and they make space for you. And it's like a never-ending cycle where you feel each other, you see where their gaps are, you see where they have some, because it's like you make like a sphere of energy around you, and you see where there are holes or gaps in their sphere of energy. You just explore their energy field. You're not fighting, you're just very softly pushing and taking turns. So it's the same in communication. You have to take turns and let your partner, you take turns in like listening and expressing, if no matter if it's verbal or non-verbal. So when you empty your cup, when you are in silence inside, you can actually understand more and know more about the other person, because otherwise you're centered in yourself. And if you are in silence, you are open to the other person, and they can feel that, and they feel better with you.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It makes sense for me. It doesn't make sense for you guys.
No, it's as I say, like the intention is when we talk about communication. So there are a lot of things on the verbal side. You can write, you can sketch, you can do a lot of things, And the biggest power, I think 95 or maybe more than that percentage, is the non-verbal communications. So even before
Yes, it was more than 90% for sure. And the body language it's a whole science. There's so many elements in there.
And I met a couple of guys who are into image consulting. Okay, now maybe June, I can help you out.
Image consulting? Wow.
Image consulting are people who help you to learn about your, your posture, your style, your positioning, your way of sitting, eating, walking, standing, everything, and the kind of the clothes that you wear, the kind of accessories that you take along, everything. Okay, this is more of a makeup. That's more of staging, I think, and everything. So June comes from that background of probably model or model management or photography and all those things. I'm sure, June, you have seen all these things in your career, right? How you drape yourself and how you position yourself, the angles, the body styling, your chin, all these things, the power pose and all these things, right? So why don't you talk something about the power poses and the dressing style and all those things? Maybe a couple of minutes.
Well, I think modeling and business are, to be honest, like posturing for business and posturing for power is too much different with modeling, I think, in my opinion. I mean, like you're talking about my career, but I don't have a proper career, so it's kind of like embarrassing. But what I've noticed so far with my little experience is that like whenever you're taking a picture, so you need emotions.
Yeah.
For example, like even by your eyes, the photographer knows that you're not focusing, or you're a bit off, or you're tired or so. And they would tell me, if I'm kind of like off or so, they would tell me kind of like remember something that kind of like made you angry or so, if they wanted something aggressive.
Yeah.
And really it's kind of like far from like business, because business like more like like straight and things like that. But throughout my experience so far, it was more like you need to kind of like relax more and be more chill, be more like, I would say millennial, like be more young, not like strict, like like this, like too manly or so, like so. But like one thing I can now just take away from modeling is that when you're like, we're talking about body posture, right? So your eyes should have these emotions. The other person that you're talking with can still see, like even though he's not he's not good with psychology, so the other person can feel you just by your eyes, just by like you can send signals through your eyes, because your eyes show pretty much what you're going through. The eyes can tell the other person that you're tired, or you're not focusing, or you're actually focusing, or you're interested. The eye tells you everything. And just right now I had a call with my girlfriend, and I wasn't really focusing, and she was seeing me, and she was like, you're not focusing, you're not hearing what I'm saying right now.
That's martial arts.
But you should say when Valentine's Day is over. Okay.
So
jokes apart.
Yeah. So far, so yeah, like I think that's the biggest takeaway from modeling. I think your eyes say a lot of stuff.
Right, and I think I'll just make a small point here is, just go back to LinkedIn and just check any of the profiles. Okay, you will feel the pictures there. They talk a lot of things, right? And you open up the same guy's profile in Facebook, you will have a different understanding of what these guys are. And usually in business, there is a place where you have this poker face and you are faking it, and on the other side there is another business where you need to show your real self. That's why many people who are influencers, they have a similar sort of a communication going on LinkedIn and Facebook, both side by side also. Sometimes they do the same thing in Instagram as well. And the idea is to show how they are living right now. The idea is how you can be the way you are. You don't have to fake it up. Okay. It's something like that. So I don't go to bed with my blazers on. That's the truth. That's the truth. I don't talk to everyone with my blazers on. Okay. And neither guys who whatever the jackets you're wearing, you don't go with the thing. So we understand that. But you get a lot of things. And now with the power of video communication, if you see some of the LinkedIn profiles, they have this video bio data, and you have got something when these guys are offbeat and they're sharing on Facebook, they have a different kind of communications. Even before, if you have not seen the video, only with that image, there is so much of communication goes out, so much of things. Your posturity, your things, your chin level and angle and your eye contact and stuff. I think probably, you guys can talk better than me. And this is the power of a photographer, the angle, the positioning, the precisioning, the image consulting, the dress, the hairstyle. I can keep on talking. Everything counts into one moment. Is that allowing you to come closer or not? If that thing, the silence way of talking through, I'll say, the power of typing. Okay, so type involves picture, statistics, words, content, all these things, right? Anything which is non-verbal, okay, that's called as the type functions. I'm calling it as written communications. Now,
and about power poses, I can say a few words, because a power pose is considered a position of the body where your body takes as much space as possible, like with your hands up or your hands on your waist, or as much space as possible. And this comes from ancient times, because your reptilian brain in this affects, because the biggest animal is the most scary one. So when you are big, when you raise your hands up or when you take more space, you instantly attract attention. And also there has been some scientific tests that when you do a power pose, your hormone levels, like testosterone levels and other hormones, go up, so you feel more confident. So if you stay in a power position for 2 minutes, you will feel a real difference in your confidence. So for example, if you are about to speak on stage, or if you have an important meeting, or you have something that you need more confidence, go to the bathroom or anywhere and do a power pose for 2 minutes, and you'll feel a real difference after that.
Oh yeah, nice, good. Yep. So many people take this, deep breaths and all those things, and I feel the best way of communicating non-verbal is the communication which you do it with yourself. Okay, and that is like, I feel that is much more powerful than the power pose. It's like, I can do it, man, I can do it. You see, this is something where you are communicating with your own self. And there are different ways people do it. People can take deep breathing and stuff, but the thing is, when you stand in front of a mirror and you are communicating with your own self, that is also a kind of a different sort of a communication. And just for my
these are different ways to influence yourself.
That's the entire purpose of this entire session, is influence your inner self. And
yeah, exactly. That's why I'm saying.
That's the power. And when you start communicating with your own selves, there are a lot of such kind of things that happen. You go with your morning rituals or your night nature rituals. You're communicating with your own self. You do meditation. You do power push-ups and power pull-ups and power exercise, power jogging, all these things. These are all your internal communications. I think the purpose of all these things is how you position to the world your preparedness of that. I mean, I just leave this the discussion open here, can I ask, Prosper? Now you have been practicing so many things. I'm sure you have
Yes.
morning rituals, right? I'm sure June has his own morning rituals. Emily has has her own morning rituals, and the same thing
Mm.
happens with everyone, right? What is the most
Mm.
beneficial part of the morning rituals, do you think? When it comes to anything, when it comes to your handling your day's jobs or your business. Now you are a teacher, you are a businessman, you are a closer, you are an entrepreneur as well. Must be prosper. So how do you see your communication, early morning communication with your own self?
The intent.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, and especially yesterday that I was talking to one of my friend who practice martial arts,
Yeah.
Wing Chun, for 15 years. He told me that it's been 2 years that he didn't touch any hands. But the only thing that he practiced, yeah, he told me like this, he said, I didn't practice. He didn't practice physically. But there is only thing that he practice every day is the intent. So the intent starts from here. Of course, there is everything connected to your breathing, to your posture. But the intent is very, very subtle. It's a kind of, when you have intentions, you have something here, and then you projecting that intention. It could be through visualizations, through pictures, through feelings also, right?
Yeah.
So this is very interesting because what Emilia said just earlier is like we do the power pose, right? So power pose is going to be, yes, it could be this, it could be, but the way I do the power pose is to do the power pose without the pose, without the movements,
Okay.
without using movement, without expanding in terms of movement, but in terms of intent.
Okay.
So I can be just here and just stay within my space, not trying to stretch it out, but just stay here and expanding through my intent. So intent is very, very subtle, and for a lot of people, for those who are not really understanding, is a little bit esoteric, right? Because it's pretty hard to explain, but there is a feelings there. And from what I experience, the feeling is I feel it here around my third eyes. I feel in here when I just drop and I feel kind of settling of my body. And I feel here on the tip of my fingers. When I say tip of my fingers, I'm not focusing on my muscles. Everything go through that extensions. You see, it's like a kind of invisible web that I'm sending. So when I'm doing this, so I'm sending, projecting something, right? And my being is projecting something. And the intent has no limits. It's limitless. So as a martial arts, we have a kind of test that we're placing our fist very close to the body. And when we just punch, we don't try to get the momentum and hit, right? We don't try to get space. But from here, we try to send it through. And just to send in a way that we're going beyond the body of our opponent, right? And you only can do it with the intent you're projecting, right? If I get back to the communication, if I have to talk, right, because I practice this more and more, it's to be that person of communicating with intent and expanding it, right, and going through. You need to assess who you are honestly. This is your positioning, right? For me, in terms of communication, is the level of transparency you are here. For example, if people say that, hey, Prosper, you're not successful, I would say, you're right. I don't have a lot of money. You see, when I say that, I own my problem. I'm not trying to rejecting my problem. I say, no, what are you talking about? And I'm fighting back. No. You don't have money, right? Yes, I don't have money. You're not successful. Well, if you think that I'm like Warren Buffett, I am not. well, you're not capable of sales. Well, yes, it's true, because I never learned sales. You see, that's the power of assessing yourself honestly. Once you have that, when you assess that, then when you have this high level of transparency, this is the point that you say, okay, this is where I am. Now, how can I be better? Right? So how can I project that intent? So my communication is so strong here, and I say, well, look, I don't know anything about sales. However, I can learn. Right?
Okay,
and this is how you project your intent there, and just to say, well, where's the problem? There's no problem there. Right? And then you project even more. That's the communication when you go or deeper or you're going through.
Awesome.
So this is the quality here that you're creating by intent when you project, by your communication, and by, of course, your body movement.
I want to share a small story before we go into the next point. This is a real story, and I think you guys can also join. I'm sure this is something which has happened to me. This can happen to you as well. Sometimes when you meet, the law keepers, the police, and all, so there are designations, lower designations, higher designations, right? And many times your communication, your positioning is something that you can bypass this kind of people who are at a lower position, and you can directly straight away go to the higher position. This happens in your business as well. We call them as gatekeepers or champions. So you don't reach to directly the chairman, but you have got small levels of guys till the time you reach this gentleman. And this is something which is of a high powerful thing. So your gesture, your attitude does make a difference, but the way you can handle such kind of gatekeepers is amazingly good. If you can directly say, okay, let's say just for some time, let's say Prosper is the gatekeeper for June right now here, and I need an appointment with June, so I might say, Prosper, Mr. June had asked me to come in so a time, and this is, we are talking about a very serious matter. What is a good time for me to get back to him? Can you make an appointment with him, please? Even though if I say please, might be a different way, right? And now, this is a little bit of power. I'll just go little down here. Mr. June, is there any chance I can meet him, please? So I go down. The more you are down, the more the power and the authority is with this gentleman who is called gatekeeper now, right? There is something which is beyond this, which you don't have to even bother. Okay, there are a lot of ways who are teaching all these things. So I feel your communication makes a lot of differences. How you can actually navigate yourself through all the leakages. I'm talking about business, and I think this what you said is makes sense. The intents. The more you intensify, it's like your DJ machine. You can switch it little harder and warmer. It's a little hotter. You go straight away. So if it is a police station or a kind of a station where you need to talk to this chief, I directly go inside and I don't say anything. And I, like many people ask me, where are you from? So the intention is they want me to understand, okay, I'm from which company or whatever I have things to sell. I said, okay, I'm from India, or I'm from the US. I don't say the right answer. Okay, what have you? I'm sorry, I cannot disclose it. Are you okay? I cannot disclose. I have to talk to the man. I mean, are you really going to be taking a responsible stuff for deciding this? If he says yes, then I have a second question. So there are different ways of communications which you go at different levels. It's only about how you understand your verbal communications, non-verbal communications, gestures, body language. Okay, now this is a truth thing I want to share with you. Now I attended a kind of an expo where there are two different kinds of parking. One is a paid parking, one is a parking for the exhibitors, and one is a VVIP parking. Okay. Now all these three things are different. Paid parking is something that you have to walk down almost around 1 kilometer, I think, to the main stage. The exhibitors parking is somewhere you have to walk for around half a kilometer, and the VVIP parking is still there, but you get a battery operated cab to carry you there. There's someone to escort you till the show. Okay. Now this is not I want to share like how I did it, but it is only with the communication you can still get a VVIP pass. Guys, are you interested to learn about that? How did I get a
Of course.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Great. So I didn't stop at the paid parking. I should have gone to the paid parking thing. I didn't stop there. Okay. And I went straight ahead and I asked the exhibitor parking area. Okay. And I said, I'm a delegate. I didn't lie. I am a delegate, but the word delegate is not understood by the security officials. They didn't understand the difference between a VVIP delegate and an exhibitor. Okay. And well, so guys, if you're in YouTube, don't think I'm the cheater over there. No, it's not like that. But yeah, I have the pass. Okay, I'm sorry. I just pick this up. So yeah, so these are. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see this? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Delegates.
The problem is he has not striked member or delegate. Both are powerful thing. I am a member. Yes, I am a member. Okay. So this member is a big word. Okay. People don't understand. Paid member or exhibitor member or VVIP member. So the thing is, it is about how confident you are. Okay. And the way you posture, the way you dress, you just slide down the glass a little bit, and the guy says, "Sir, I'm a delegate." Okay, fine, sir. Which way is it? Even before he wants to see my badge or see my stuff, I said, "Which way is the VVIP path? Oh, VVIP. What is that parking?" And even before he could tell, my glass is. I mean, there is a gesture. Okay, thank you so much. I didn't pull out the glass. I said I lowered the glass a little bit more. And even before he could say to pass that on, I usually have a kind of a look like this. I said, in a very, very, very slow way, can you guide me to the VVIP parking, please? I'm a member. Voila!
That's cool.
It worked.
There's a lot of pause and silence there in between phrases.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely right. So I think the power pose was the look. I think we in India drive right-hand drive, right? Right-hand steering. So this gentleman was this, and he says, "Sir, you are that crazy way." And he's doing it from morning to evening. Okay, and I don't say anything. I said, "Can you guide me to the VVIP parking? I'm a member." Oh, okay. So he says, "Okay." He never dared to ask me even my badge. That look itself was so powerful. But guys, let me tell you the secret. I was turned down 15 times in other stuff. Might be more than that. Right? It comes with practice. So YouTubers, if you're listening to this, be careful how you use this,
Yeah, be careful, really. Just like you can convince people.
You use it for the good, don't use it for the bad. But as I said, sometimes you need to work out in a different way. Well, so there are technique number 2, 4, 5. A lot of techniques are there. You can bribe the security guards as well. Okay, I don't mind it. But there is another way of bribing. So my way of bribing is probably, hey, it's my birthday. Thank you for the VVIP. Which side is VVIP pass? There are a lot of things that you can do. Okay, I'm not putting there now. All right. So guys, quickly let me take you to the second part of the things that we have today. And here we go. Okay, so communication. Under communication, we spoke about verbal. We spoke so much about non-verbal and interpersonal skills. So these are the kind of things that I want to share very quickly with you before we end this session. So in communications, we have got a person who is called as a sender or encoder. We send certain vibes, certain information, certain gestures, certain sort of, that's what we call it as encoder. And the receiving guy is called as a decoder. Okay. There is definitely a medium into this. The medium might be anything. Okay. There is a channel. Medium and channel are different. I was talking about receiver. And after you receive all these things, there is a sort of processing happens by which you give certain feedback, right? That's what it happens in martial arts and other places also. Okay. And I'll not go into the context right now and noise. Let me understand feedback. Let me ask a little bit feedback from the team here. Might be just 2 minutes. All right. So guys, now this is a verbal communication happening, and let me take a small feedback from you guys. So far, how did you feel? Martial arts and business, we are trying to put all these things together, and we tried to create this session today. And the most powerful session was with the communication. We've just touched a small thing here, and my feedback is, I think I have got a lot of points from Prosper, a lot of points from you, June, and from Emily as well, regarding that power positioning with your Tai Chi. That's awesome. I think there are a lot of things for people who want to take anything from here. Okay. Let me take a quick feedback from June. How do you feel the session so far? Martial arts and business communications.
Well, I think especially the last example, what you've shared is so far the most like funniest, but also like most like powerful. Where
All right.
I think for a personality like me, I think I need that kind of like practice, and like you've done that 15 times and then you were able to do that.
Might be more than that. I don't know. I just put a number, but I failed many times. I was said, no, sir, sorry. You need to show your badge. Okay. Then I go in the other side. Mr. Robin is there. Who is Robin? No, your chief, because I know his name was mentioned there in some other ways. I did all these tricks, to get an entry. I've done all shit stuff. Okay. But I never lied. I did a kind of a study, and I had a lot of observations power. Okay. I saw the kind of movements on the gateways. It happens with me on business structure. I don't get an interview directly with the chairman. No one gives me, I need to use some. No one puts me directly to the chairman or the decision maker or the board of directors, right? So you need to do something, right? And the usual technique, is the power of communication. Many times I just go and sit in the lounge. Okay, might be it's an office and I have unless lounge. I'm not talking to the receptionist at least, because she'll get fed up and she'll look at me and she'll say, "Sir, can I help you?" Yeah, I'm just waiting for Mr. Tom or whoever is the chairman. He had asked me to drop in today. I felt it's a very, very unhospitable place to be here. I'm just waiting for a couple of minutes. If he doesn't turn up or his associate doesn't turn up, probably I might lose this this opportunity. We'll be losing this opportunity. I'm sorry. This is how, I put the ball and the game on their stuff. So this is, don't use it directly unless and until you are super clear on what you're going to do. Okay.
True.
Okay.
I think for me, I need practice. I mean, like that intent was more of a negative, yeah.
What if you beg, buy, borrow, steal, kill, murder, suicide, even? No, don't do that. Okay, but the thing is, you have to get your job done. So it's like sometimes, I call it as a planned accident. Okay, it's a planned accident. So I know this gentleman is there in this, probably office. He has came for a meeting. He's gonna be here, and he's coming out at this time. I know he has got this appointment. I have done all my homework, and I'm still waiting. I've been waiting for 3 hours, 4 hours, and this gentleman comes in, and I said, I just opened. Oh my God, I'm meeting you live. I can't believe, dude. I know he's there inside. I know he's there. Okay. I don't believe that this is what is happening with me. Okay, and guys, I can share you. I mean, I don't mind sharing this, because this is how, if I need to make an appointment. So I know you might be very busy, but if I can probably give just 2 minutes, this is what I have to talk. Okay, this is my link. I just scribble the link. Okay, I have scribbled the link. Just watch out this YouTube. I have a small note for you. I don't want your phone number. I don't want anything. This is my YouTube link.
Great.
Okay, so he's not hesitant to give the phone number. I don't need his phone number. Okay, well, this is powerful stuff.
I see.
Do it at your own risk.
If you don't need his phone number, then like his or her phone number, what do you need then? I mean, like you given him or her your YouTube link or so, like then if you want to contact back them, how do you contact them?
Awesome.
How do
So
you make
guys,
it
if you are listening to this YouTube channel, there is something scribbled down there, right? In that you will find my calendar link where you can reach me out. And I have my LinkedIn, I have my Facebook, every damn thing. And I exactly know if you are listening to this or you are coming to this, I know how many subscribers there, who is subscribed, I know everything.
Oh, so you have a Calendly link on your description?
Why don't you go and check? You can check that.
I did check that. I never thought of checking.
Oh yes, every communication goes with, oh my God, the June is gone out now. He's really checking it out. All right. Okay, so.
Oh, that's really smart actually. I never thought about it.
Well, it's very good. I mean, the calendar link in the.
So you need to be different somewhere, right? And as I said, these are
yeah, of course,
which are unlisted. Yeah. Many times I don't have a video.
Hey, Amit, I have a question. That do you also like give them a was like a state of action where, well, a call out of action? What do you see that like?
See, 90%
to go through my description. Yeah.
I usually don't write much other than just a link because I have this is like unlisted videos which are created only for that purpose. And this is usually done at the site. Okay, so I make it purposefully at the site when I'm meeting him because I am already there in that place, right? So I make the video, I have the script ready, I know what I have to talk, and I do the shooting at that point of time, and I just upload it in a small miniature, 2 minutes or 5 minutes. And I tell him, so this is just a 3 minutes video because I've got so many things to talk to you. I'm sure once you get into your car, you might not have time. Just 3 minutes is something that I want from you, sir. That's it.
Okay.
And in the video, I talk about all these things. I talk about the action points, and I talk about, okay, at any point of time, if you find that this video is something which is useful for you and bring business to you, and if you're thinking how to reach me out, the link is down there. You can book an appointment with me, no problem. Whatever. Blah, 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 blah. Talk about that.
Great.
No phone numbers needed, no visiting card needed, no shake hands needed, and you've done a job.
And you have already provided value and also positioned yourself better. You've already like also differentiated yourself from other people.
Yeah, I've got an example. I met this gentleman. Okay, I think on one of this expos on what do you call this exhibitions, and trust me, he's selling some chemicals for some companies. Okay, some machines. I neither know the machine, I don't know the chemicals, where they're used, I have no idea. But you know, looking at him, okay, I said, okay, I need to give him some sort of value because I need to do a business with the guys who are designing the machines, because these guys are, you know, it's a high ticket business. So who is the guy going to help me? It's the chemical guy, because he's connected to all these big machine guys. So I use different techniques to reach out to people. Okay, now I said like, okay, do you mind if I can give a shout out for all of them to you? I am a marketeer now. You know I am a marketeer, and the power that I have is I can communicate to 20,000 people per second. How do you feel that? Okay, right? He said, okay. Now, June, I'm telling you, I can connect you to probably marketing heads of around 25 retail companies who are looking at modeling. Would you like to get connected?
Oh,
sure.
You bet
Awesome.
you won't.
Right.
Come on.
And would you mind if I do it for you free of cost?
That'd be awesome.
Okay. I'll connect you to 25 retail marketing heads. And will you probably give me what exactly you are selling and to where you are doing? Can you give me a clientele so that I can share this information to others, that these are the kind of clientele you have, to gain the trust? I get your database. So guys, in YouTube, you need to be a super finesse guys to understand this momentum. Okay, this is done in 30 seconds, not more than that, just 30 seconds. But how you power pose this, how do you, okay, propose and power pose are different. Okay, I'll repeat, propose and power pose is different. Here I do something called as power pose, I don't propose. June, if you need me to help you to reach 25 chief marketing officers of apparel brands, I need a write-up to be designed. I will write it for you, but would you mind telling me who are the guys whom you have already worked with? I need their name and I need their details as well, so that I can put their logos in that mail. You see that?
Yeah.
If I have the name, if I have the brand, and these guys are so big that they will be there on LinkedIn or some social media site. Remaining is a different thing. I can know. I don't mind sending 15 mails for you. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's like free of cost. I can send mails. Right? Now the thing is, I can talk to your clients also. Hey, there was a gentleman called June. This is the guy who looks like this. You have done some work for you. Now, cross-tagging. And he's the person who has referred me to talk to you, because I'm also inviting people like you on stage. Acha, you are inviting people like me also? Okay, what is this? So it's a kind of a small webinar where we are discussing a small problem about, how this is blah, blah, blah. Make up. Well, this is, I think the season was something on communication, and I was talking about how to hello up people. Okay, guys, YouTubers, if you're listening to this, as I said, this is all yours, man. I'm just telling you the things that work for me. If it worked for you or not, I don't know. But I have failed millions times to understand all these things.
Be careful. There's a lot of powerful tips there, you guys. You have really to listen.
All right. So guys, if you're listening to this, I mean, the entire intention was to use non-verbal communications here. So let me go back and tell you a little bit more about, the stuff. So these are the technical names. I think you can Google them up. What is called a sender, the kind of medium that you use, channel, receiver, feedback. Now, feedback is something which is very important. Okay. Feedback can be a non-verbal feedback also. Feedback can be just a smile. Feedback can be just a silence. Feedback can be just a nod. Feedback can be just closing your eyes. There are a lot of feedbacks, right? You need to understand all these feedbacks, okay? It depends. In business also, there are feedbacks happens which are non-verbal, which are stinkers, okay? There are a lot of things. This word context is a super powerful word, because in what context, in what situation, in what position you are reacting or communicating. Reacting is also a kind of a communication. It makes a lot of things. Okay. And the last part is called noise. It's more about interference and distractions. Sometimes you need noise. Okay. Sometimes you need noise, because let's say if it is a kind of a group talk happening, there are board of directors there. There is only one guy who is supposed to decide, but you get a lot of other people who are putting things. No, I need that. I need this. I have to talk about the proposal. Talk about this. What is statistics, taxations, so many things. These are noise. So you should be able to understand what is a noise and what is the music. The music is the business. Okay. And these are all intentional noise. So when you are into a group closing, when you are doing a kind of a presentation in front of a group, see to it that if it's a group, when I say group, it is anywhere more than 5 guys is a group. Okay, for me it is 5 guys more. I take it up. It is no rules, no standardizations. Okay, and less than 5, I call it as cluster. Okay, so cluster positioning is different. So cluster positioning is when there is an even number of people and odd number of people, there is a way to position yourself. Your positioning means where you sit, where you stand. Okay, if it is a round table, you don't have a choice, but you have a choice of selecting chairs if it is not marked. Okay, do not sit on the end of the elongated chairs. You know, elongated tables, you get the mold of the dining table kind of things. Do not sit on these corners. Do not sit on this center. Always, there are power positions. Sit on the decision maker's left hand side, farther left.
What?
Okay. Don't ask me how, where it is used, but as I said, like this is very, very powerful. Sit on the left hand of this guy's farthest corner because that's the vision point. Okay. If you need to communicate, then sit on the right hand side center. And if you are a decision maker like him, then sit on the other side, face to face. Okay. Okay, so that's all from my side today. Anything else you guys want to share? Let me take a good feedback and see how you felt it.
I mean, it's very good. I mean, today those guys need to listen again and just to pick that up, because we get really deeper in terms of communications about the tonality, the posture, even the lines, you know, and we know how you get your VIP, VIP pass. June, we should work on the image consulting. I just to that note, you know, you are in modeling and I'm in my martial art posture. How about that? We should cooperate on this.
But
it could be
you guys
fun.
kind of like
Because,
creep me a
you know
little
what?
bit, but
I learned something
I
from
don't
you.
consider myself as a model.
Yeah, you know what? Shut up about that. Just shut up your lower self. But one thing about this, I learned something very important, because actually it's very related. You know, when your girlfriend just look at you and see your eyes and she knows, this is actually at the highest level of martial arts, when you read the intent of the person through the eyes. When you look at the eyes and you know exactly when there's uncertainty, doubt, fear, and by knowing this through the eyes of the person, then you're able to hit hard. So that's why you get
one
the
word,
martial artist.
you know, fake it till you make it.
I would say like this, because this is I have a lot of arguments about fake it until you make it, because for me, as it starts fake, it will remain fake at the end.
Hey, hold on, not here, man.
No, we have different.
Okay.
We have different perspective. Okay, just different.
Okay. Hold on. Let's take this discussion in a different direction. So, guys,
okay, sure.
like, you know, so people can make out, you know, looking at your eyes. You know, it's a kind of a practice that needs to fake from the eyes. You know, it's a different thing. It's a different ball game altogether. Because if you're nervous, left and right and up and down and all those things, it needs time and practice to, you know, I'll say position that faking thing. But trust me, there is something that I will tell everyone in this YouTube. You can fake anything. You can fake your positioning, your attire, your desire, your emotions, your communications, your style. You can fake everything. But at the end of the day, you cannot fake only one thing. That's your own self.
Okay. That's how it is.
Okay. You might be a conqueror. You might be a winner, but only you know how you have won the match. And that's the power of this entire session, that I call it as influence inner self. How you want to influence is up to you. You want to fake it, it's yours. You want to make it, yours. You want to talk the truth, yours. It's yours, not mine. Mine is this. So I'm openly telling you, yes, I admit it, that yes, I have used certain techniques to reach out, but I don't do business based on lies. I don't do any business based on lies. Okay. I might use certain techniques to reach to that point, but shooting is something that is from here. If I don't feel like, okay, this is something that is not for me, I tell directly to my prospects and clients, I know only this much. If you train me or teach me, I can do this much. But from my side, I see only this much. If you're okay, we have a deal. If it is not, I'll go. I mean, probably I'll get back after I train myself, or I can have all those things what we're looking at.
Guys, if you hear what Amit said, is really the level of transparency as a person, you know, because he's honest. It's just like, okay, I know that a little bit. You want me to have this? Well, I can always learn, but it depends on you. Are you okay with this? Then we can do business together, even with that gap. So that's really powerful, because when you come from this level of honesty to a business partner, and they know that you're not faking it. I mean, you real at this moment, that it's very different, because that is more acceptable than trying to be, oh, you want me this, I'm here, which is you're not, because you're here, and that's a reality. So that's very powerful.
So I think with this, let me get a kind of a small feedback from Emily also. Emily, you had been very patiently listening to all this naughty jokes of ours, a lot of things that we shared. What is your view, Emily? You there?
Yeah, sir.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think it's really great. Um, you should be yourself at the end of the day.
Yeah. At the end
That's
of
the most powerful communication.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. June, anything that you want to say before we end the session, and before I can ask my YouTube people who are listening to this, or whoever, YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever this video goes in, whatever the age of this video, please write it to it, as I'll be happy to share whatever my insights are there. Whatever is the age, you are listening to this after 1 year of publishing also, you might be. I'm happy to reply you next year also of recording this session. I'm there. Yeah, June, anything else that you want to share?
I think that fake it till you make it part where you could fake your posture, you could like fake your, I don't know, tonality, you could fake your facial expression, you can fake whatever. But at the end you can't fake yourself. But I think that part is kind of like, it makes sense to me in a way that you can't hide yourself. You want to be your true self, but in a way that you want to be more, I don't know, show more power for yourself, show more self-esteem, or show that you're confident is important. I mean, just because you want to be yourself doesn't mean that you want to be like more like, I don't know, hipster or like millennial. If you want to be someone in power, if you want to be someone who's an influencer, in some extent you gotta act, or you gotta wear, or you gotta posture yourself as an influencer, in a way to be an influencer. And
I think yeah, go ahead.
I think what you're saying is more like educate yourself and practice it till you make it.
Yes. And I think once you make it, you disclose that, okay, this is the way I have done. You see, all the biggest leaders in the world, they usually tell, this is what I am, this is what I have done. You can do it too. Right? So just 1 second, just hold on. I'll just give a kind of small pause.
On like thinking that it's not fake it till you make it, it's more like be it till you make it.
Amazing. I think I like that word.
I like that, be it until you make it. Yeah, exactly. You know, if, for example, I just say I will close Jack Ma, right? And but if I believe it, is I'm being at this moment. Of course, I didn't make it, so it needs some steps, it needs some time to get there. But be it until make it is what I write it down now.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll just probably put this point before we go ahead. Is this last 40 days, 37 days, I was actually practicing being there, and I'm being there actually, So I was actually visualizing this part as on the 37th day, I'll be talking on an international summit, and I'll be on a stage where I'll get people to come along with me on the stage. So I have those kind of things where I have shared you some of the images also. I'll try to share with this thing as I made people to come on stage and talk and stand with me. That's the kind of power that I developed there. And I practiced this for 15 days. Every day I was looking at this, like if I stand there, what happens? And just to be honest with you, I went to my roof where there was no one on my rooftop, and I was doing the same thing as if like it was a stage. I was enacting, I was communicating with myself, I was talking to myself if it is there. I was visualizing this entire thing. And on the day, trust me, everything was washed out. I had no script, I had no practice. But what I had in front of me was a blank, I don't know, a blank stuff. I don't know what should I say. I just let it go. I just closed my eyes for 2 seconds and I was there. My hands were shivering because I have never spoken to such a huge audience, and they are like all entrepreneurs. I can talk to kids, fine, but that was my inner self, lower self, whatever you call it. But this is the highest of the discomfort that I've ever seen after a long time. Now I think I mean, as I'm opening up more, people who are watching my YouTube from day one, they know. You see the first video. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. That video is yak than this, but I'm also learning. There are a lot of things happening. So I am being there, and I'm trying to make it there. And every time this is growing. This is expanding. The information that I have then and now is different. If you ask me to go back and take the first session, right now, if I take this first session, it will be absolutely an amazing session. Trust me.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we are almost at the end of this. Anything else before I, we switch off today's session?
I would like to add something.
Sure.
It will be very quick. It's about the martial art world.
Yeah.
In the martial arts world, we have a lot of people. We have more talkers than people who practice good martial arts. Why come this way? Because, well, just to say as it is, it's a business, right? Martial arts. That's why we have a lot of people. But at that time, the way we practice that, you need to be selected to practice with your Sifu. Your Sifu select you. And before that, it was an ancient time that martial arts is a serious thing. That is death or life. But today we forget this kind of idea, right? That's why we have millions and millions of practitioners. So we have a lot of people, they talk. They talk too much that when we ask them to do something, to demonstrate the quality of their arts, they do less, right? So I was talking to my friend yesterday. He was saying a Chinese things like "xin fu, kou fu." Xin fu means heart and mouth, and kou means mouth. Means your mouth and your heart is connected. So it means you speak from your heart. You walk your talk. He say what you do, but do what you say. And that's a lot of people, they don't do that because they say what they do. They say, oh, I do this, I do that, I do that. But the moment they demonstrate, I promise that it's too much talk, but less of doing. So when you're able to get that, to do what you say, do what you believe, do what you are, I promise that's powerful. This is there.
With that word power, let me add up one more thing from my last session also. How many of you guys have watched the Spider-Man movie, and there is saying like with great power comes great responsibilities, right? Do you remember that line?
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Yeah. And let me connect back to Prosper. I think that line has to be remodeled. Okay. With a great responsibility as influencers, don't forget that you have a great power. and the power are with your audience, with your listeners, with your fans, with your followers. It's a huge power. Don't underestimate this power. So when you are attaining this power, you should be more responsible than what you have said on the other side. So when an influencer bonds out from me, from my sessions, or this entire season, the first thing that I tell them is you need to be responsible first. And the responsibility starts with your observation, your understanding, and your communication. So with that, I would like to say peace to this session. And guys, if you're listening to this, whatever your comments are, whatever you feel, you have learned here with this discussion, with these amazing friends of ours, Prosper, June, Emily. I think it's great to have you on board. As I said, the people who volunteer earns more, and this is one more learning from my side. Okay. So with that, let me take goodbye from every one of you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Emily, even though if you are not on video, thank you so much for sharing your trust and your valuable time here. I understand, this is something which is a great gift to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. You're welcome.
Yeah. And Prosper, my Shifu always, on the other side, I feel there is a Shifu in everyone. You should know how to do this. Thank you so much for being here. And June,
you're welcome.
Brother, your presence and your comments are commendable. I think if I have shown you certain directions, as I said, you are an influencer yourself now. If you're learning this, you are momentarily, at least for 2 minutes, you are an influencer of your own self. And you can pick and choose the things that you like at this point of time. No one is bad, no one is good. It's the situation which creates that urge of doing or taking an action. So with that, thank you everyone, and have a pleasant surprise tomorrow morning, and have an amazing day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.